What's up, YouTube? I'm out here on this M1000R, and it just dawned on me that I had this bike for over a year now. So let's talk about it. Well, for starters, a lot has changed since I first got it. I got a lot of mods on it. Yeah, so I mean, I'll go over the mods whenever I stop, but I'm just telling you guys from the beginning. At the beginning, I actually wasn't really feeling this bike. I thought it was kind of boring. It was fast, but it was just the whole braking period, the whole 600-mile braking period thing, so where you couldn't go over a certain RPM, and it just made the bike so boring. And I much preferred my Street Fighter over this bike when I first got it. But then once I broke it in, I started liking it. And this is before an exhaust or anything, or slip on or anything, because it just, you could actually ride the bike without having to worry about the RPMs. I mean, yeah, it still has some flat spots because it's not tuned, but it's 100 times better than when I first got the bike. And not only was it boring to ride, it was quiet. A little too quiet in my opinion, which made the bike even more boring. So I'm like, I spent all this money on this bike and it's kind of boring and I don't like it, so I was about to trade it in for something. And it really it's not much out there. I mean, I probably wouldn't get another naked bike because I have the Street Fighter. And kind of my whole point of getting this bike was to kind of compare that to this. And so I didn't want another naked bike. And I'm kind of waiting to see what Ducati does with their redesign of Panigale. They want to redesign the Street Fighter. So I'm kind of waiting around to see what that. But that's another story. But I really started to like this bike. I like how smooth it is. I like how lightweight it is. Since I changed out the exhaust, it's so much more lightweight. It's more nimble. Like how nimble that is, and the corners and everything. It's not as choppy as the V4 or just the Ducati. It's just smooth. It's not an inline 4-cylinder. It's just smooth. And I actually don't. Some of the inline bikes don't sound that good to me. It sounds just the whining, but this sounds really good. It sounds strong. Those downshifts, man. But yeah, like back onto what I'm saying is between the two bikes. But I'll do a whole separate video on which one I think is better or which one I prefer to ride more. But just the smoothness out of this bike, I appreciate it a lot more than the Street Fighter. I'll just say that for right now. And because the Street Fighter definitely looks better than this. But back on this bike. So since I did on that, and like I said, I'll go over and show you guys the mods I've done so far on the bike. And then once I got an exhaust, like a full system, man, this thing turned into a whole different bike. But it still didn't lose its smoothness though, which is what I kind of like. Then it has that adaptive ECU thing, so where you don't even have to tune the bike. There's no check engine light or anything like that. And just watch how butter smooth this is. Like one hand through this turn. Well, it's not a real turn anyway, but just one hand and it's stuck. Smooth, even, balanced. The throttle's not on and off. Nice and smooth delivery. And it's stuff you can go too, man. I'm not trying to go too crazy because it's cop season right now. Overall, man, I'm happy. I gotta keep this bike. I'm not trading it in for anything. Like I said, originally I was going to just test it out, see if I like it better than the M1, better than the Street Fighter. This thing ain't going nowhere. It just does everything right. And then not to mention the electronics, like the screen is bigger, nice and clear screen. It has more amenities. It has heated hand grips stock. It has cruise control stock. I used to like to hit it right here. Somebody behind me, no. God, listen to that thing. Well, that's kind of all I got with you guys with the riding portion of it. Let's take it to the garage and we'll go over the mods and stuff and go over little slight things I like and dislike about it. Alright, so let's talk about the likes and dislikes. So, likes, we'll go with one would be the smoothness of the bike, like I mentioned. Two would be the ease of working on it. It's so easy to work on. Changing the exhaust out, full exhaust, took me like less than an hour to do. So ease of, I guess, maintenance, I guess you could say, because compared to the Street Fighter is hard to change the exhaust. You gotta take pretty much the whole bike apart to pull a full exhaust on there. Right now I just got a slip on there. So, but three would be the looks. Love the looks of this thing. The full carbon fiber on it. There, I added that piece on there, obviously. Four would be the electronics, all the stuff on there, the amenities and stuff it comes with, the heated hand grips and cruise control and all that stuff like that comes stock on this bike. And then five would probably be, I like the power delivery, how smooth the power is on this bike. And I guess you could say an honorable mention would be the quick shifter. This quick shifter is the best quick shifter on any bike I've ever ridden on. By far. It's so precise, so easy to use. Up and down function is easy. Whereas the Street Fighter, I had to redo that, but that's coming up in another video. But yeah, but the Street Fighter, I had to redo that one. So now I'll put a video out about that one in the future. And Hyper, it's not bad, but the downshifts, the auto blip on the downshifts are kind of weird on that. So I guess maybe a tune or something could fix that, but it's nowhere near as bad as the Street Fighter. The Hyper's quick shifter and auto blip is way better than a Street Fighter. But yeah, but the BMWs, man, it's so smooth. Let's talk about the dislikes. Dislikes would be the plastic. First thing is all the plastic on this bike. This bike is the competition. So this is supposed to be the upper model, but it still has plastic on it. This was painted and then this was plastic. The aftermarket on that underneath here was plastic. So it's like you spend all this extra money for the carbon and all that stuff like that, but the bike still has a lot of plastic on it. And their plastic is, I'm not particularly fond of it, the way it looks. At least I try to do this one up a little bit. It has little flakes in it almost, but it's just cheap ABS plastic. So I feel like the competition version should come full carbon. All that back there, the tail should be carbon. The inner piece should be carbon, like I said, and then this down piece down here, sorry for dirt on the bike, needs to be clean, but this needs to be carbon. So I feel like it should come a little bit more carbon, kind of like the S, well not the S, but the M1000R. How it has more carbon on it, on the stay in here, that should be stock carbon and all like that. But so that's that. Two would be the rear suspension. The rear suspension on this bike is terrible. Like, I can't explain it. It's kind of, it could be because I have the bike in race mode, or maybe it might be better if I switch it to street mode. But like if you're in the turn, the rear wheel would just kind of, you just get like an uneasy feeling with the rear suspension. It's not like the Street Fighter at the S one, so that has Owens on it. But what is this brand anyway? I think it's Marzocchi. Yeah. So the front is not bad. It's the rear. It kind of feels like it's just not confidence inspiring in turns and stuff like that. But a straight line is okay. But like if you hit any imperfection on the road, you feel that in the rear. And it's like the rear is like talking to you. Like it's not, I don't know. That's the best way I could describe it. It's just not confidence inspiring. So 3, the vibration in the handlebars on this bike is terrible. Now the bike has carbon fiber wheels, so that could be being it's so light in front. That's why you probably get more vibrations in it. There's really not a lot of weight up here, kind of like the S and the M1000R. They have more weight in the front because they have a whole front fairing, so there's more weight, so they probably don't have as much vibration. But you can't see out the mirrors, period. So I put these on here so you can see. I can see a little bit better. They don't shake, because anything on this bar end you put on here, no matter if you put a weight on here or not, it still shakes. And I like to see behind me when I'm riding. So 4th thing, I'd say the front brakes. Now I do like that they have steel braided lines, so it gives you a lot more pressure, but they're not as strong as the Brembos on Street Fighter over there. If you guys can see that. 4th thing. Oh yeah, at first I didn't. Well, I kind of still don't. The riding position on this bike is a little weird, because I'm used to the Street Fighter sits up a little higher. It sits at like a higher angle. If you guys can see that, it sits a little bit higher. Like you're sitting like on top of the bike, versus this bike. This one you're sitting like in it. My knees come like right here, so I'm tall. I'm 6'2", long legs and everything like that. So I know it's just a quick thing. I could adjust these. Looks like they're adjustable. Yeah, you can put them up or back or whatever. It just feels like this piece right here, these rear sets, it just needs to be a little longer, and then I could get more feel with the rear sets. But the riding position, it's comfortable because you're straight up, the bars aren't bent, but it's still kind of based off the double R, because the way you sit on it, you sit like in it. I guess I can't explain it. Maybe I can replicate it somehow and show you guys. But so it's the seating position for me, because I'm a taller person, so it's just not as comfortable as the Street Fighter. Street Fighter is built for taller people for sure. So at 5, let's see. Oh, this headlight. I'll go over that later in the video. The headlight is, I do not like this headlight at all. I'm like more so that look right there. I think it looks more aggressive than this. It's so happy looking, like it's smiling. I want it to look more aggressive. So, and the headlight. So that's the things I do not like about the bike. So, go over some of the mods I got on it. Got these aftermarket knockoff stealth mirrors right here. Brake guard lever and bar and weight from Evotech right here. TWM quick action gas cap. The titanium screws. This little aftermarket piece here. And right there, TWM. See. And we got the aftermarket titanium exhaust. See, it's blue. We got a Leo Vinci slip on. Got this from Ilberg Carbon. This whole back piece is a full carbon. And underneath as well. Then we got the NRC tail tighty. And right there, so you guys can see. Evotech rear axle sliders and rear stand pins here. And we got front Evotech sliders. And then some tape protectors. And I believe that is pretty much it when it comes to this bike. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, at the time I was recording the video, the first part of the video, the new version of this bike was announced shortly after I did that ride. And obviously, the most difference between this 2023 and the upcoming 2025 is the headlight. You see it has like the single headlight, the Cyclops headlight. And this is like LED right here, as you see. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so see the emblem lights up here. This is the LED strip, and then the high beams down here. This bike is super hot. It's hot already. I just turned it on. But there, as you see, it's the emblem. Lights up. Like that. So that's that. Now, so the question is, are the changes to the to this bike in 2025 worth trading this in, selling this, or trading this in for that? Yeah, so they're going to, the electronic changes, like basically changing the degree you pull back the throttle. So the thing's called a sport throttle or something like that. I can't remember. I'll put the name of it on the screen, but it's basically going to reduce the amount of pullback you need to actually accelerate. So that actually be cool. But if it's electronic, they should be able to download it to this bike, and I should be able to get that. But I don't know if it's a software thing. So that's that. And there's small changes to the engine to make it even more Euro 5 compliant. And with this M bike, it still has the same horsepower, but just little small changes to the engine. And then obviously that change that was just mentioned. And then the biggest change is the headlight. Now it has more of a kind of like the Street Fighter look. Like that, how it has dual headlights and a half beam, like that. Other changes too. They have the winglets are going to be carbon fiber. That's the easy change. A lot of the carbon fiber places sell it, like Elberger Carbon has the kit. You can buy, get that. I'll show you guys the trade value of this bike, and it's horrible. After tax, titles, and fees, I paid like $32,000 after tax, titles, and fees for this bike. It retails at $27,000, and after tax, title, and fees, it was like $32 or something like that. So the trade book value is this. So I know this is like a KBB is like a, it's not like a more like an estimated thing. So we'll go in here. So we'll hit BMW, 2023 BMW. We'll scroll down. M1000R. Well, you can't change it from the regular version to the competition version. So I imagine the competition version might be a little worth a little bit more, but this is the trade value. Like I said, I paid $32,000 for it. The bike is only, as we speak, a little over a year old. But I guess by 2025 it'll be 2 years old, but still, get that. You know, they don't really offer you what the bike is worth anyways when you go to trade it in, so it's best for you to try to sell it. And do I really have the patience to wait around and actually sell this thing? I don't know, but I might just say keep it. I wonder if there's a way I can, because I actually like the new headlight over this headlight. I think it looks better, it looks more sporty, more aggressive. And I'm never just a fan of the Cyclops headlight thing. I'm not really a fan of it. I like that style, like the Street Fighter. But I wonder if there would be a way to just buy that and change it versus trading this in. I wouldn't trade it in for the same bike. I would trade in for an actual double R as opposed to a single R. I really like the way the new double R looks. I'm thinking if I do trade it in for something or sell it, then that's the bike I'll get, as opposed to getting another single R. But that's all I got for you guys. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.